What's up? This is MC Lars, and you're watching Interview Under Fire.
Talking about the I generation. Talking about my I generation. Talking about the I generation.
Hi, MC Lars.
Yes, Sonny.
Welcome to Texas. When was the last time you were here?
I think the last time I was in Texas was last fall with the Mount Rushmore Nerdcore tour with Friendalorians, and then we did Austin and Dallas, I think.
Okay. So when you think of the term Texas, I have to ask, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I got from California.
Just how big it is,
Okay.
and yeah, size.
Barbecue?
Barbecue.
Or like everything's bigger here?
I'm so sorry. Is it okay?
Yeah.
I didn't break
Plug it
it.
right in.
I didn't break it.
That was all planned.
When we pulled up, Schaeffer was like, everywhere in Texas smells like barbecue and sounds like indie rock. Because this street is like 6th Street in Austin.
So tonight was your 9th show on this tour, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. How's the tour been, first of all?
We've had good turnouts. It's
Okay.
been good. I mean, I haven't really headlined before a lot of these markets, so it's awesome to be able to play and have people come out and have the promoters be happy with their investment, and it's been awesome. And talking to you guys.
Now, you've been at this for almost 20 years.
Woo!
Now, here's the thing. You do a lot of hip-hop theory, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is your biggest influence in music, and why? Like, just a brief explanation on that.
Probably Weird Al Yankovic, because the way he's able to emulate genre, and like hip hop lends itself to sampling and like referencing other things. So he's my musical hero, and he's probably my biggest influence.
Okay. Now back on the hip-hop theory, you do a lot of that. Where did you find your real love in hip-hop?
I mean, I think two things. I was big into KRS-One, you know, the way he's very educational and dope. And I love how Insane Clown Posse like created this whole world, and like, you know, they really did things differently and succeeded that way. So those are my two influences.
Now, for the future of hip-hop, now I want to word this the right way. What are some of your thoughts on the progression on the genre? You know, it's like, what are the key focus points on what you believe new artists that are coming onto the scene, what do you believe they should pay attention to? I'm asking because you're a 20-year veteran of this genre. Like, if you were talking to someone to give advice to, what would you say to them?
I mean, I think it's all about the local scenes, people building and collaborating. I think YouTube and Spotify are the primary platforms, and you can do that from your backyard. And like, there are all these scenes like Suicide Boys in Florida and Ghostmane. The SoundCloud stuff, like, you know, when I started sampling emo and punk bands, and now a lot of these kids grew up with Taking Back Sunday and Brand New, and they rap like with that as a genuine influence. So I think it's cool that hip hop has become like hybridized and really unique, and like very, you know, a lot of stuff that I was doing 20 years ago is now become the way you promote yourself. You give away your music, you create content, and it's cool. I mean, I think networking and building is really important, and being able to put on a good live show is important too.
I mean, speaking of creating content, do you do anything like outside of music that contributes to your love for what you do? Like anything that, like, you listen to maybe metal, like when you're not even like in a hip hop, or something completely different that helps you kind of refocus, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, I love jazz, I love metal. Like, I grew up playing like punk rock. I do a podcast, which is cool because I interview people and learn about their creative processes.
Look at that podcast.
The MC Lars podcast.
All right.
Hey! And yeah, all that stuff is important to me. I read a lot. That's why I rap a lot about literature and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to talk about literature.
Hey!
We're going to get to that later, but
Okay.
we're actually going to get to that in a second.
Okay.
If Shakespeare were alive today, do you think he'd be into hip hop more than anything else?
I think definitely. I did a TED talk about that, kind of how literature and rap have a lot in common. Shakespeare's use of rhyme, storytelling, like a lot of the people that we celebrate in hip hop are tragic figures, you know, and you know, and I think that Shakespeare is very timeless in a way that the best hip hop is. So yeah, Shakespeare would have understood hip hop, and I think that's why Hamilton is such a hit, because merging theater with rap is just a natural thing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what's up.
Do you have a favorite song you like to perform live? I know we heard a mix of pretty much everything over there.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I love, speaking of Shakespeare, this tour I'm doing my Hamlet song, and it's fun. I haven't played guitar on stage for a while, so it's fun to, that song's been really satisfying because people love it, and I'm really thankful that, that being able to do Shakespeare rap gets a reaction. Because most people be like, what? That sounds like that could be horrible. Which it could very easily could be.
So this is a question I just improvised right now. So what you're talking about, I wanted to ask, over the time frame that you have been performing your music, have you seen a new group of fans coming throughout the years? I mean, you have your faithful fans, of course. They'll be at the shows that you are at.
Yeah.
Do you see a new group of fans coming in every now and then? And do you see the fan base growing, changing? You know, what do you see from your eyes when it comes to that?
That's a good question, man. I mean, I think a lot of it is like this millennial nostalgia for early social media before like everything became what it is. I mean, I think what I'm seeing this tour, which is dope, is kids who are like, oh, I got into you when I was 13 and I'm playing a bar, so it's 21 and up, so they couldn't come before, you know? So it's kids who like were streaming me on MySpace who now are old enough to go to shows, and they see, oh, MC Lars, he's old school, you know, and like, that's tight, that's really tight to have that. And now the trick is getting them, when they have kids, to bring their kids to shows, you know? That's the only way to keep going. That's tight.
Okay, now, I was going to ask, you have a lot of life-changing things that are going on. What is your most proud moment so far in your career?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I got married a few years ago.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually met my wife at South by Southwest. She played in a band opening for us.
Yeah, I knew about that.
So that's
pretty awesome.
I'm sober, and I've been sober about 3 years, and that's cool. Like, that helps me.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's awesome.
That's helped me a lot. And and being vegan, like I try to, like eating right and ethical reasons. I mean, just trying to maintain, like, Earth Crisis have the shirt that says "Built myself to last."
Yeah.
Built to last, and
man, Earth Crisis.
They're tight. I love Earth Crisis.
Throwing it back, bro.
Old school. So yeah, that's I'm proud of that. But I'm just proud I'm able to still do this and make a living. I'm like very fortunate.
I mean, the reception I saw out there from the crowd, I mean, it was like you haven't missed a beat.
Thanks, bro.
I want to be able to see years from now, see how far you can make this even genre go to different levels.
20 more years.
It's awesome. I love it. I love that you're putting your work out there. It gives people like us a reason to do what we do. You know,
Thanks,
you put a passion out there, and it's a passion for me to actually talk to someone like you.
You're a good interviewer.
Now, I appreciate that. Thanks, man.
Hey.
Hey. High five. Okay. Now, I got to ask a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Now, the literature thing.
Yes.
I know you're huge into Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
If you could pick, now this is tough. Think about this for a second. If you had to pick one profession or the other, hip hop or literature, what would you pick?
Like to be like a literature professor?
Yeah.
I mean,
let me word it this way.
Yeah.
Let me word it this way. If you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what would you be? If you weren't a rap artist.
Yeah, I was minoring in psychology, so I probably would have become a therapist, maybe a music therapist.
Okay.
But this kind of took on its own momentum, and I didn't go into that route. But I think a lot of it is music is therapeutic, right? So it's like it's similar. So I would have been probably a psychologist.
Okay, good answer.
Yeah.
If you were running for president, what would you see in our future? What would you want to see in our future?
If I were president?
Yeah.
An accountable president, and like someone who can help. The biggest crisis, I think, not to get too political, is climate change.
Yeah.
So like finding sustainable ways to make sure our grandkids aren't like all dying in forest fires. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but I think that's important. I'd like to think like in 500 years the planet will be livable. Who knows? Maybe it will, but I think that's important.
I think we kind of forget little things like that just in our progressing in our everyday lives. Like, there's a future for literally all of us. How are we going to be able to keep this going? So
yeah, man. I mean, we're going to be fine. We'll be fine, but it's scary. But it's there's a lot of misinformation, and it's so weird how like talking about this stuff becomes very dividing thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right, I lied. I got 2 more questions.
That's okay.
Now I actually have 2 more questions.
no, it's okay.
In the future, what can we expect from you? What are your plans after this tour? Like just
Yeah, so I'm doing
2020 moving on out.
I'm doing an Edgar Allan Poe full length. I did the EP 6 years ago, and actually 8 years ago. So I'm doing a full length, doing parodies, which has been fun, and I'm doing my podcast every Monday, and I do 2 songs a month on Patreon, and I'm doing songs about every movie in the MCU. So that's been fun in the chronological order.
Oh my
So I got Guardians
You
coming
just
up.
opened up a whole new, like, we could go on this for years.
Hey, that's tight. That's tight.
So, all right, now I gotta ask, what are your thoughts? Because it's the tour, it's the Baby Yoda tour.
Yes, sir.
What's your thoughts on The Mandalorian?
I mean, I think it's probably the best Star Wars franchise in a long time. I think it's as good, if not better, than like Episode 8 through 9, 7 through 9. Do you guys like it or not?
You know, do I like it?
Yeah.
I do like the new trilogy. If you're asking me,
I think it's good, but do you think The Mandalorian's as good or no?
Mandalorian is better.
Yeah, I think
But
it's
just,
better.
Just because we grew up on the original trilogy, you needed something since then. I mean, since then you had, yeah, you had your prequels that just fill up the Darth Vader story, but you haven't had anything since then to actually give you that episode 4, 5, 6 feeling, and The Mandalorian did exactly that.
Well, it's the perfect link between Jedi and Rise of
You remember when
Skywalker.
you're talking about nostalgia, like
Yeah.
how the millennium? It's I know it's a different feel, but it's like kind of like that same element when it comes to that nostalgic feeling. The
Yeah.
Mandalorian brought that back.
It's awesome, and I'm stoked for the second season and like
October this year.
oh follow up. That's tight. Yeah, Mandalorian's dope. So that's tight.
Yeah. Okay, favorite Star Wars episode.
I mean Empire.
Okay, I'm a sucker for trilogies, so
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi for me.
That's
That's probably my favorite movie of all time, honestly.
Jedi's tight. Jedi's great. I recently learned that Lucas wanted Spielberg to direct it, but he couldn't get him because he'd left the Directors Guild because he
Yeah.
wanted to put the credits at the end.
Are you talking about the prequels or like the original?
So Spielberg didn't. Return of the Jedi, Lucas wanted Spielberg to direct it, but he couldn't because he'd left the Directors Guild. Lucas had. There's a great documentary called Empire of Dreams.
Yes.
Which talks about that.
Yeah, it's on. I gotta go watch it.
I think that's on Amazon
It's
Prime.
always in my recommendations.
It's good, man.
Star Wars is my life, so I grew up with that. So, and not to hate on the new films, I actually love the new films. So, yeah.
I thought Rise of Skywalker was awesome, and anyone hating on it, my response is like, you think you could have made a better ending to this? Like,
Yeah,
it was great.
That's the same thing because you don't.
Relax,
If you
everyone.
notice, every movie actually has a view force element.
right.
But now
Oh, yeah.
people are complaining. Why is there? You know, before they didn't complain about that. You
Yeah.
know, so it's just little things you start to see. But anyway,
Star Wars is tight.
That's a whole different conversation. But MC Lars, appreciate you so
Sonny.
much, man.
Good to see you.
You crushed it on the
Thank
rest
you,
of this
Corey.
tour.
You guys are tight.
Appreciate it, man. Awesome.
Thanks for
What is your
waiting.
best zombie impression? What is your best zombie impression? Make the sound too. Yo, John Solo, I'm scared. That's freaking scary. Let me see your impression. This looks too real because I can't see it here. Yo, go see outside, outside. All right, here we go. We're gonna count to 4. Zombies. We're gonna do the dance back, forward, forward, forward. Here we go. I think we should call it Bruce Campbell. Back, 2, 3, 4, and forward. 2, 3, 4, and back. 2, 3, 4, and forward. 2, 3, 4. Fresh from the cemetery, I'm a terrifying sight. With little bits of bloody flesh stuck to my mind, I will ruin you, reduce you to a puddle where you stand. Tear into your torso with my cold dead hand. Blood, sweat, and tears from your wounds start spewing. Fill a water bottle, swallow all your bodily fluids. You were nailed to a wall full of holes like a dartboard. Still think you're hardcore? Bow to your darklord. Letter from an axe, there's a blue shirt, red, severed head, and a vice inside of my work shed. Dead heads get trained, pinheads get chained. Annihilate you, then annihilate your remains. Choked in your roast because you got so scared. Toss your body in the cellar, hope you rot down there. Here we go, down. Screams, I'm a goblin feet. Believe that. 2, 3, just 4. Get off the floor, we're doing the Bruce Campbell. Get on the mic, light a charm like a candle. 4 MCs, the more that you can handle. Do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the floor, we're doing the Bruce Campbell. Get off the mic, light a charm like a candle. 4 MCs, the more that you can handle. Protect your neck and do the Bruce Campbell. Jeffrey Dahmer, here's my story. You ignore me, you deplore me. Much too boring, violent, glory. This never wouldn't happen if you had ignored me. Come on, back to me and my fabricator. Nice sense to his folks in my refrigerator. You just sit alone when I pass in the hall. Wouldn't be stacking on your dead boyfriend call. Checking on your day, being back to the hotel. The lobby's dead, trying to buy the pictures from the sledge. You can't see this. I'm that belligerent. Murderous, yeah, no far from innocent. The drums in your party is the best, it's true. And everywhere I go, I'll take a part of you. There's a key downstairs, and your name's on it. I'll get the scenes out, you bring the comment. Get on the floor and do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the mic, watch it jump like a candle. 4 MCs for more than you can handle. Just do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the floor and do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the mic, watch it jump like a candle. 4 MCs for more than you can handle. Protect your neck and do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the floor and do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the mic, watch it jump like a candle. 4 MCs for more than you can handle. Just do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the floor and do the Bruce Campbell. Get on the mic, watch it jump like a candle. 4 MCs for more than you can handle. Protect your neck and do the Bruce Campbell. SCHÄFFER the Dark Lord.